Is the entire MMA landscape on the verge of its biggest upheaval yet? With top contenders constantly shifting, rising stars trading barbs, and legendary names walking away for good, it seems like anything can happen next. Today, we're diving into the unexpected twists rocking the UFC, from last-minute retirements to surprising alliances and heated feuds. Buckle in, because each section will reveal something new and potentially game-changing in the world of mixed martial arts. Umar Nurmagomedov stunned fans when he lost his fight by unanimous decision, but the real revelation came afterward. He revealed that early in the opening round, he suffered a broken hand, an injury that clearly impacted his usual high-caliber performance. In the aftermath, Umar shared that his recovery window could extend up to 6 months. Some insiders whisper that this might derail his momentum, while others argue a setback like this only fuels his hunger to come back stronger. The question now is, who will Umar face upon returning to the octagon? Certain matchups could vault him straight back into title contention. Others might test his hand's durability and mental resolve. Either way, this story is far from over. He's got the name, recognition, and skill set to spark intense interest when he's fully healed. Stay tuned, because if he does bounce back the way some expect, the bantamweight picture could get a serious shakeup. But that's not the only fight drama swirling around. For one high-profile podcaster, there's a new name capturing attention. Joe Rogan, renowned for spotting talent and dissecting techniques, has shifted his focus to Dricus du Plessis. Rogan's excitement isn't just casual praise. He describes Dricus as a constantly evolving fighter who grows more dangerous every time he steps into the cage. According to Rogan, the most impressive part of Dricus's game is his pace. He just doesn't slow down. Kicks to the legs, switch kicks to the body, and a barrage of strikes from unconventional angles keep his opponents guessing. Yet the conversation around du Plessis isn't all about accolades. Some critics argue that he needs to face more elite names to truly prove himself. Joe Rogan, however, seems convinced that Dricus's unrelenting style and size make him a puzzle for even the most seasoned contenders. His words, "He keeps getting better." Still, not everyone is sold on Dricus as a future champion, and that skepticism may become extra spicy when we consider those who've already begun throwing shade at him. Dricus du Plessis isn't one to let a verbal jab slide by unanswered, especially when it comes from Khamzat Chimaev. After Dricus secured a decisive win over Sean Strickland, Khamzat dismissed the entire fight as that alone would have riled up many, but Dricus took a more calculated approach. He shot back by calling Khamzat a waste of potential, going so far as to hint that Khamzat's agent is the real brain behind his more coherent tweets. The tension seems to be climbing every day. Some see it as inevitable that these two will meet in the octagon, especially if Khamzat continues to struggle to lock down a welterweight title shot. A big question arises: could International Fight Week become the stage for a du Plessis versus Chimaev showdown? Both men are known for their explosive styles, and each has built a reputation for finishing fights in spectacular fashion. But how will that potential matchup unfold given Dricus's unrelenting pace versus Khamzat's famed aggression? Only time will tell if this war of words will transition into a war of fists. But while fights are heating up in the middleweight division, one legend in the bantamweight category just closed the cage door for good. Dominic Cruz's unexpected departure from his upcoming fight with Rob Font hit fans like a gut punch. Twice in the past 8 months, he dislocated his shoulder, and these compounded injuries ultimately pushed him to announce his retirement from MMA. For many, Cruz is the greatest, or at least second greatest bantamweight to ever do it. So what does the UFC president think about losing such a figure? Dana White openly admitted he's blown away by how long Cruz managed to keep fighting despite a career marred by setbacks. From torn ligaments to multiple surgeries, Cruz has endured enough to fill a medical journal, yet every time he recovered, he made it back into the cage. Now that he's stepping away for good, the big question is, how does this impact the bantamweight division's future? Who steps in to fill the vacuum left by a fighter who not only dominated inside the cage, but also brought sharp insights as a commentator? The departure of one star inevitably allows others to rise. If Cruz truly stays retired, the bantamweight division is about to become even more unpredictable. As fans process his exit, another storyline has fans debating whether a recent fight result was truly as dominant as the scorecard suggested. Despite du Plessis' clear victory over Sean Strickland, former welterweight kingpin Kamaru Usman wasn't exactly bowled over. His contention: the fight was competitive right up until Strickland's nose got shattered. After that, Strickland had to abandon key parts of his strategy, making the final outcome less of a comprehensive masterclass and more a product of that decisive injury. Usman didn't hold back, pointing out that neither man displayed a perfect performance. He emphasized that while Dricus eventually found success, he didn't start by mixing it up or seeking takedowns. According to Usman, the first couple of rounds could have gone either way. So while fans and pundits point to the scorecards as evidence of total dominance, Usman sees a more nuanced picture. His verdict: both men have room to improve if they want to remain top-tier threats. But not everyone in the MMA world shares Usman's measured take. One prominent Hall of Famer saw things in a much brighter light. Daniel Cormier, or DC as fans know him, sang a completely different tune about Du Plessis' performance. In fact, Cormier argued that Dricus looked more polished and commanding than in his first encounter with Sean Strickland. According to DC, Dricus took every round, with only the first being remotely close. DC highlighted the small adjustments Dricus made, a mix of surprising angles, constant movement, and efficient striking volume. The puzzle he poses forces opponents to fight on his terms. By dictating the pace and angles, Dricus prevents his rivals from finding any meaningful rhythm. As soon as they try to come forward, Du Plessis is already shifting speed or direction, landing strikes from positions that catch them off balance. This performance, in DC's eyes, sets Dricus up for a potential title run. However, the UFC's future is never simple, especially when new contenders are emerging daily. In the midst of all this speculation, one heavyweight star has his eye on who might deliver the biggest surprise in the coming months. Tom Aspinall, known for his sharp wit and even sharper skill set, took to social media to play a game of most likely to when it comes to UFC fighters. In a playful series of statements, he picked out who he believes might become the next global superstar, who might cry during a sad movie, and even who might pull off the biggest shock this year. What really got people talking was Aspinall's mention of Magomed Ankalaev as a potential underdog to upset Alex Pereira at UFC 313. Tom believes Ankalaev has the technical prowess to derail Pereira's hype train, revealing that upsets can happen at any moment in MMA's fast-paced environment. For Aspinall, it's not just about physical ability, it's the mental edge, the grit to execute a game plan even when you're the overlooked contender. If this scenario unfolds, it could massively shift the light heavyweight rankings and possibly set up Ankalaev for a title push. But shock value doesn't just come from upsets, it can also come from decade-long grudges that refuse to die. If you thought the dust had settled between Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor, think again. It has been more than 3 years since Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor last shared the octagon. Their most recent fight saw Conor snap his leg, leaving him prone in the cage and spouting post-fight threats about taking Dustin's life. The heated words didn't end there. The hostility spilled over into social media, with Conor making personal jabs that Dustin found tasteless. Now, Poirier has confirmed that the animosity remains stronger than ever. He's publicly stated he wants no reconciliation. If they cross paths, Dustin claims they'd fight to the death. That line might sound dramatic, but for Dustin, it's about principle. He respects Conor's abilities in combat, calling him gifted in many ways, but has zero respect for him as a man. Given Conor's own turbulent past, it's the kind of feud that feels raw, personal, and unscripted. Fans can't help but wonder, could this all lead to a final, definitive showdown once Conor's cleared to fight again? From Umar Nurmagomedov's injury and probable 6-month layoff to Dustin Poirier's unwavering grudge against Conor McGregor, the UFC is brimming with unfinished stories. Dricus du Plessis seems to be the man of the hour, praised by legends like Rogan and Cormier, while also drawing skeptical views from Kamaru Usman. Meanwhile, Dominic Cruz's retirement opens a new chapter in the bantamweight division, a division that might see fresh contenders emerge, and older ones try to cement their legacies. At every turn, new faces step up, while established names clash over social media, in press conferences, and inside the octagon. Will Dricus and Khamzat settle their differences in a blockbuster fight? Will Umar Nurmagomedov's return mark a new era for his division, or will Tom Aspinall's predicted underdogs steal the spotlight? And as for Dustin Poirier and Conor McGregor, could another battle actually come together? Or is this all talk until someone signs a contract? The only certainty is that in the UFC, anything can happen, and it often does. What do you think is the next massive twist waiting to happen in these fighters' careers? Share your theories and bold predictions, because chances are we're only one punch away from yet another shocking turn of events. Keep watching and stay ready for more unfolding drama in the ever unpredictable world of mixed martial arts.